The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello there. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm CJ.
And I'm Carlos.
Carlos is still filling in for Chip, who should be back on Friday. And it's been an eventful week so far. And you have to admit, this is getting to be beyond nutty. It's been interesting to see how this is going to work out. But first off, I want to say the visitation and the ceremonies that happened this week for Hannah Raposo have been amazing. The community support and the outpouring of such support shows that Fall River, contrary to a lot of the negative and disparaging comments that are made, sometimes even by this show, when Fall River is in a crisis, we come together and we make it happen. So that's always a good thing. Right now, I want to talk about something that's really ticking me off. And I am upset tremendously on the ruling that was made in California this week on a rape case from a Stanford University student. And I think the worst part about it is, and if anyone has the opportunity, it is online, the rape victim's statement. I have it here. It is 13 pages long. 13 pages. And this statement is something that every person should read. Have your children read it. It is an amazing statement. And she opens it up real quickly with, "Your Honor, if it's all right, for the majority of this statement, I would like to address the defendant directly." She directed this person, and she spelled it out on January 17, 2015, everything that happened. And she calls out the person who did this, but very constructively. She said to him, "Everyone suffered, not only me, but you've suffered. The community, everyone suffers." And that's so true. And I think the biggest problem I have with this entire scenario of jokes, and I am going to call it a joke from this judge, was that he said he does not believe that this perpetrator will ever be harmful to anyone else again. You know what? If my daughter was raped, if my mother was raped, if my niece was raped, if your mother or your father or anyone suffered this type of crime, I'm sure 6 months would not cover it for you. And they said, "Oh, but he's going to be a registered sex offender for the rest of his life, da 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 da." And the gentleman who did this, his name is Turner. He's 20 years old. They didn't even convict him of rape. They got him on the intent to commit rape of an intoxicated or unconscious person, and penetration of an intoxicated person, and penetration of an unconscious person. Really? This was in Santa Clara County in California. And the judge was Aaron Persky. And he said on Thursday that Turner's age and lack of criminal history made him feel that imposing a 6-month jail sentence with probation was appropriate. Turner also has to register as a sex offender. To quote the judge, "A prison sentence would have a severe impact on him. I think he will not be a danger to others." Guess what? This is why I have supported for numerous years the election of judges instead of the appointment. Because the appointments are political hacks and political favors for attorneys that have worked over and over and over again. And don't get me wrong, we've had some pretty good judges historically, but it's judges like this that create the effort to say, hey, maybe we should seriously look at electing our judges. Now, the Defense Attorney Association doesn't want the election of judges because they believe that the judges will then become stricter on sentencing. And they won't give their criminals, their drug dealers, their rapists, their bank robbers, their murderers, stricter penalties. They want them to be as liberal as possible. Prosecutors, I think, might enjoy having a strict judge. Now, nationally, in a few days, 500,000 signatures were collected to have this judge removed from the bench. And personally, I'm surprised they didn't lynch him and burn him in effigy. But, you know, a local reporter, Howie Carr, had addressed this a couple of weeks ago when he said, hack judges are only good for slaps on the wrist. And this is here in Massachusetts. And he pointed out 2 particular judges in Massachusetts, but 98% of the judges give the other 2% a bad name. Isn't that sad? 98% of Massachusetts judges give the 2%, which are halfway decent, a bad name. And this is what happens. This is what happens. And really, this is a comment on our society. Oh, we can't stop illegal immigrants from coming into our country because if we do that, we're racist. Oh, we can't put people in jail because they're violating the drug laws. Oh, we can't do that. There's too many people in jail already. We can't arrest them for being in possession of illegal narcotics. We can give them welfare for being illegal aliens. We can give them entitlements, but we can't help them. We can't move it along. We can't hold them responsible for their actions. And this is what happens in the United States. And it's happening in Massachusetts. So you, the voter, don't try to get them to pass a law which requires a judge to be elected. You know why? The Supreme Judicial Court, again, run by judges, have already said that the voters' wish, the voters' intent doesn't matter. Because in 1999, they overturned the voters' intent to have limits put on elected officials. And they said that you have to take that back to the legislators to hold a constitutional convention to put that into the Constitution. So you're going to go back to the guys that you want to kick out of office to have them create a constitutional convention to enact a constitutional amendment to limit their terms. Like that's going to happen. Are you serious? What moves people? Fear and self-interest. And the elected officials have no fear, and everything they do is for self-interest.
And you're right, CJ. And this is only the one that we heard about.
Right.
This is, it's plenty of cases like this out there, for sure. This one just got the attention of the media, and now we are familiar with this case. But I bet it's a lot of cases out there like this. Just this week, I was on Facebook, and I believe it was our board member, Amy, that just shared a girl that got ripped through the college, but everything went quiet because the person involved with this rip, he was a football player for the school, and he was bringing hundreds of thousands of dollars to the college, and the police did nothing about. That's another example of what's going on out there, and I agreed with you. Appointees always have somebody to protect, and that I agreed with you that should not be the way, and that brings us back to Fall River and Fall River politics. A lot of what's going on the boards. Boards got appointed by the mayor, and happens what we see constantly. Rooms full of neighbors complaining, please don't destroy my neighborhood, don't destroy streets, and putting this and permitting this to come on my streets. And they decided that they go because when they went to that meeting, they already went to that meeting with a decision made, and nobody on that room is going to make them change their opinion. That's example that it's not happening just in the courts. that happens, even coming down to city-wise, like we have appointees, making decisions on these boards.
Well, it's just nutty that we actually have to talk about this. So remember, in California, in Santa Clara County, if you commit a rape, hey, you'll get 6 months if you're lucky. So, and in Massachusetts, I'd like the judges to please wake up. Understand that people want strict enforcement. They don't want slaps on the wrist.
And don't say that they were not committed again, because just in New Bedford last year, we got somebody loose that did it again.
Right.
And did it again with the mother of the kid 20 feet away from them.
Right.
So, I don't believe on this, he's going to get cured.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. Well, let's move on to the school department.
Oh, boy. And Chip's missing this. He was going to have so much fun with this.
I know. Well, it's interesting because, the school department originally had met an agreement for $133 million, I believe it was. And they said the $137.9 million budget proposal would not fund low-level services across the school district. It represents a 3% cut in services and staffing. Okay? So, all right, we can understand that. That hearing, which was a 30-minute meeting, said that Durfee High School would be the one most impacted. School officials are expected to share with the committee details of the proposed changes. Again, we're going to share everything later. But they met again. And this time, the majority of the school committee members voted to amend the fiscal 2017 budget to $126 million. Wait a minute, I thought we needed 133.3. So that's another 7.6. But here's the kicker. Here's how they save the money. The school's operating budget is $90,970,323. In total, there's a reduction of $1.5 million. In addition to the health insurance. Because why? What did Chip and I say about the health insurance, Carlos? It's on the city side already. The school department wanted it on their side so they could say, we want that money back. And guess what? They found out that, if you do that, it doesn't work because you're part of a group anyways. So, again, thank you for not listening to our show, School Committee. Thank you for not listening to the show, School Department. And definitely, thanks for not listening, Meg Mayo Brown. Because if you had been listening from the get-go, you wouldn't have this problem. But I still don't see the makeup of the money that's missing, okay, from the school that the state said they need. Now, there was a reduction made to budget include $100,000 in professional salaries, $99,950 in teacher salaries, $50,000 in tutors, $50,000 in unemployment payments, $13,484 in retirement contributions. They don't have the option of cutting down the retirement contributions. This is what they don't understand. They have an agreement in place with the retirement board. So our resident retirement board member is going to have a little bit to say about that when he gets back here. But $350,000 in heat, $250,000 in non-emergency utilities, and $437,035 in tuition, and $75,000 in Medicare insurance. Really? How can you cut $75,000 in Medicare insurance? That premium is paid for out of the employee pocket and out of the city side contribution. You can't cut it down. The federal government doesn't let you cut it. Again, these numbers are fake. They're lies. They're misrepresentations. And they're going to come back like they do every year and say, we need more money because we didn't calculate this. It's a lie. It's a lie. And you know what? The only person who opposed this was Mark Costa, who I have no love for as a school committee member. All right? So Ed Costa, Gabe Andrade, Joe Martins, Paul Coogan, Mayor Correa, all of you, don't pass a lie. You passed a lie. So you are not worth the paper that your name was printed on the ballot. And I am not going to allow the acceptance of the Pereira principle to sell this. Well, sometimes you have to vote for it even though you know it's wrong. No. No. You lied. And you can't keep lying. You cannot keep lying. And as long as you keep lying, the people will not have any faith in you. And of all people, I am so surprised with Joe Martin and Ed Costa. Joe Martin and Ed Costa know better than anything else how these budgets work. And they voted for a lie? You voted for a lie? I can't. I can't. Because guess what happens, voters? Guess what happens, taxpayers? Come July, when they pass this in the city budget, if they pass it, okay, you're going to see the school department come back to us again in March or April and say, oh, we have a shortfall of $100 million or something. And this is where the problem comes in. We're in budget season. And budget season, it's important for you to realize that if the numbers don't work during budget season, the numbers don't work. When a budget is set, it's set. You can't come back in December and say, oh, well, we didn't take into consideration this money, so we need it to be allocated by the city council now. If I was on the city council, you know what I'd say? You didn't budget properly? Too bad. You're out of luck. You are out of luck. Next time, budget accordingly. Don't budget with lies. And that's what our budgets have been for years now. It's a deception of the people. It's a deception of the taxpayer. Because guess what? The city keeps saying, hey, we'll just generate more fees. We'll get the money one way or the other. It's not right.
For people that are familiar with accounting, it's very easy sometimes to play with numbers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and make numbers fit and make numbers look good and make profits if we need to show profits and make high numbers when we don't have, when we want to prove that we don't make that much money. So with that being said, and been talking about this, if we're going to meet net spending, if we're not going to meet net spending, I don't think we're going to do it. I think we're going to do it. We start running out of time. And I think that's what happened here. We started to run out of time. Now we need to show numbers, and we need to make them fit. So as long as I have this much here, all between, we can just put it anywhere. And I think that's how a lot of numbers just come around. You're working for 3 months in a budget, and then in a week you resolve the budget. It's done. So I think that's what was done. Was let's make numbers work and just divide numbers and show numbers. I think that's what was done.
But you know what? That's not how you run a business. That's not how you run the city. And that's not common sense to run it that way. Mm-hmm. What you're talking about is common sense. And Chip and I always say it.
And that's when we ended, because we just made the numbers fit.
That's right.
That's when we're going to come short.
Exactly.
On the ends of the year. You know?
And right now, the boy emperor is trying to make himself look good. He is trying his damnedest to make himself look good. Oh, I saved money. I did this. I did that. The budget may show money savings now, but when you're depending on free cash, because free cash is because you've overtaxed the people, mm-hmm. to pay some of this year's debt, you mm-hmm. have a problem. The other thing that you have,
yeah, but you call other members, attention to this problem. So when you mention the mayor, he's one vote on that board.
Right.
So all the others need to take responsibility.
That's what I did. I held them accountable. The only person that voted against it because he knew was Mark Costa. Okay? So Melissa Panchley, the financial guru of the school committee, she agreed to this. So either she doesn't have a math brain in her head, or she's sucking on the teat of the city and she's saying, hey, it's time for me to just go along to get along.
And at the end of the day, I keep saying this. I cannot see how we spend half of the city budget to our school department. I just cannot, and when it comes to cuts, we're going to lose teachers. Can we cut somewhere else without touching the teachers? Because no. It's like the city. When we don't have, we need to cut money. There we go. It's another fire department's going to lose people.
That's
it's
right.
the police department's going. why not just taking cars out of the road, because we still don't know. I keep asking this question, how many cars that the city owns?
Right.
I see cars all over the place.
I know.
I see city plates and cars, regular cars. How many cars that the city has? It's one of the things that we've been putting a lot of money. I see cars, people taking breaks and going to Somerset, driving at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
I'm coming down. I'm coming down from work, and I see a city car being driven to Somerset for somebody to go home and have a break. We paid for that gas. You know, so I just don't get it. I don't think that people are looking on the right places. I'm sorry, I cannot understand that. I can't.
I agree. You know, and it just gets to be nutty. And, you know, the city council has made it clear that they have some questions on the budget. And again, I want our viewers to be very cognizant of this. Several city councilors, one of whom is Cliff Ponte, want questions that he should ask of the administration on this budget. If you don't put them in, you know what? You're at fault. So you get what you deserve. Ask the questions. Make sure the city councils get them, because guess what? You don't, in your 3 minutes, you're not going to get an answer. So make sure you give them to Cliff Ponte. Give them to other city councilors that are willing to take them. Because guess what? If you don't ask the questions, you're never going to have the answers.
And I think this time, and I mentioned this on the other show, that last year they were very close not passing the budget.
Right.
They were very close. And now we have 5 new city councils sitting in there that I don't think they're gonna pass. I don't think they're gonna pass anything they don't feel comfortable with.
Here's the thing, okay? I'm gonna look across the infamous nitwitted 9 right now, and I'll tell you, odds are Cabeceiras will vote against it. Steve Camara will probably vote for it. Joe Camara will probably vote against it. Pamela Liberté LeBeau will vote for it. Ray Mitchell will vote for it. Linda Pereira, she's a fence, sitting on the fence. Cliff Ponte, unless he gets the right answers, I don't think he'll vote for it. And Sean Kadim, I think Sean Kadim won't vote for it either.
Yes.
You know, and then you got Steve Long, who he's just gonna say, yeah, vote for it. So.
But you just told me exactly what people been saying for a long time, that it's people, they have their own agendas. They're not going to vote against because they don't believe with the numbers.
Right.
They're going to go against because they don't like this administration. It's a total different thing. You know, but the vote, what counts is the vote.
Right. And the thing is that it may be a little bit, it's always about personalities. It's all about personal agendas. But I think that one of the things you got to look at is the fact that they're not getting the answers they want. Linda Pereira's big concern is sanitation, okay? She's questioning the decision to privatize, especially with a 10-year contract. Richard Cabeceiras, as he studies the budget, Cabeceiras at this point has 3 major concerns. Correa's plan to fund the school department, potential that the class size will increase, concern in sanitation, and 3rd, do we have enough money in the budget if there's a catastrophe? Joe Camara, having not completed going through the budget, said nothing. Steve Camara saying he hasn't delved deep enough. Again, the cop-outs. Pamela Liberté LeBeau, she said she's happy that there are no cuts to police and fire. So again, she's going to go from there. Steve Long just started delving in. Ray Mitchell, to be honest, I'm still working on it, which is another cop-out. And then Cliff Ponte has had a chance to look over the budget and said there are some interesting aspects that raise questions, which is kind of politically nice. But I have a question here. If you have a question on any part of the budget, why vote for it at all? Mm-hmm. Why vote for it at all? Okay, and don't let them go, oh, it's 1/12 budget, we got to lay off people, we can't pay our bills. Guess what? You should have thought about that before. Now, Correa, on the other hand, is saying, oh, I'm saving lots of money. For too long, the city has been living paycheck to paycheck. And from the beginning of his term as mayor, his priority has been to deliver a streamlined and viable fiscal 2017 budget. A streamlined bullshit story. Put it bluntly, sorry for using the language. All right? The numbers don't work. City councilors are seeing that some of the numbers don't work. But you have a group of city councilors which don't have any backbone, and they won't call them out on it. They're saying that $7,000 to pay for travel, gone. All right? He intends to attend about 4 conferences held by the United States Conference of Mayors, which he's a member of the committee. It's something previous mayors have not taken advantage of and put the city at a disadvantage. So, he needs that money. He's not going to get rid of it. He needs that money. Those conferences yield funding from national companies that give out grants to municipalities that are actively participating, and also puts Fall River on a national stage. No, that is for the mayor to line his pocket with a trip so he can go out and network with other people. He's not bringing anything back to the city, and he doesn't want to pay for it out of his pocket. He wants the taxpayer to pay for his short-term vacation jaunts. Okay? Another issue was the part-time position for $20,000 in the budget, which only reads vacant. All right? 13% increases come under the scrutiny of City Council President Sean Kadim in a recent interview with the Herald News. Most department heads are seeing budget cuts, but not them. Streets and highways are seeing a nearly 16% cut. Where we need the work, potholes, we're going to cut their budget. City buildings, we created building and maintenance. Oh, we're going to create a capital improvement plan. They have seen a 42% increase in personnel. For what? If you don't fund it, it's not going to happen. But, you know, I want to be sure that we're very clear on this. We already know, and I'm going to release it today, because I gave Councilor Cabeceiras the opportunity to confirm or deny several issues regarding the budget and a long-term, well, I shouldn't say long-term, but a short-term rumor that's been going around. I asked Councilor Cabeceiras very clearly, are you running or are you announcing your candidacy for mayor for the city of Fall River? His response was, I'm doing my job. I said, I'm going to ask you again, are you running or announcing your candidacy to run for mayor of the city of Fall River? Again, I'm doing my job. I asked him questions on the budget, specific questions. The answer again, I'm doing my job. Now, it was reported to me yesterday that a committee was formed and a meeting held to put together his campaign for mayor. Does he think he's going to pull the Jays LaCorrea card out of his backside?
I mean, it's been public that he's been approaching some people
Right.
to start his campaign,
Right.
and kind of starting grouping a group to support him for mayor. It's been going on for a while. So I have no doubts that he has plans to run, just like at least another person on the board that's making very evident that he wants to run for office. And then you have those that, even if they have intention, they've been maintaining, you know, and doing their job as city councils first. So, but it's going to be, you know, it's still a year and a half away, but it's going to be a very interesting.
If that, because you got a group of people wanting to get
elections,
a whole new election.
it's a year and a half away.
No, not if these people get together and put their recall together for the entire elected
for
body.
recall.
Yeah,
No, regular.
Which I don't.
For regular,
I want no part of. But lastly, I've got to call out City Councilor Ray Mitchell. This morning, Ray Mitchell made a statement on the air, which I have to absolutely say, Ray, keep your mouth shut. He turned around and said you can only judge a politician by their comments on whether or not you should vote for them. He also said that how do you know if a politician's lying? Their lips are moving. Ray, you're a politician. Guess what? Your lips are moving.
Boy.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you Friday. Stay angry.